So in this section, should have noticed that when I merge the two cards together that match, I end up with this scenario, right? I have essentially these circles. We've just circled our molecules. So now we can kind of see a better picture of how these molecules are interacting with one another. So just to review, like our states of matter, right? Even though we're talking about the actual atoms of a molecule, we can see that these particle diagrams that we've been drawing, they are essentially what you've been drawing as molecules. So we know that this right here kind of looks, hopefully you said, like a liquid, right? My molecules are close together, but they don't have any type of uniform shape or structure. And you can kind of see like some are a little bit, there's some spaces here and there between some of them, but some of them are maybe a little bit closer. So they don't have like a regular pattern like we would see in a solid. This middle picture here, we can see this is a gas. My molecules are spaced out. There's lots of room. They're filling the container, taking up the space inside the container. And then here at the bottom, I have a solid. Sorry, I can't spell solid. Where my particles have a regular arrangement. I can see they're nicely put in rows. I can tell this has a uniform, rigid structure. Okay, so what these diagrams, even though they look a little different than what we've been seeing, they still match up with what we've learned about our states of matter. In this slide, you were sorting, you have some different looking cards. This is all of the same compound, butane. So if you took a closer look, you notice they each have the same number of black spheres, gray spheres, and you may have noticed too that the black spheres represent the carbon and then the white spheres represent the hydrogen atoms. So you were just sorting them any way that you like that made sense to you. So I'm going to describe the way that I sorted them, but that may not be the way that you sorted them, and that is perfectly okay. Everybody might sort them differently just depending on how you were looking at it. So in my mind, I sort, and I'll just kind of circle them in like colors. I sorted these in one group because to me those were not in a straight line. So, and I guess this one kind of too. It was kind of showing more like the shape of the molecule. And then I sorted these in more of a separate group because they kind of showed the shape, but it wasn't as like 3D as some of these other ones. So they look more just like a straight line to me. And then I had these. These looked like carbons and hydrogens that were just connected by some lines. And this one kind of falls in that group too. I don't actually see anything about the size of the atoms, which I could tell from the other ones that carbon was larger than hydrogen. I couldn't really tell that with these. I can't really see a shape. It looks like maybe that's what some of them are trying to show me, but it's hard to see because they're just letters. And then my last group were just these that just kind of listed the carbons and hydrogens out. So that's how I sorted it. Like I said, you may not have sorted it that way, and that is perfectly fine. Some of ours may have overlapped and some of them didn't, but that's okay. However, you can reason or justify why you sorted it. That is the important part. We do want to note that, and I kind of mentioned a few things, but in our notes that we go over in class, we're talking about, we're going to answer a question or two about, do all of these models serve the same purpose? And to me, the answer is no, because like this one here, this one looks like it's showing me like the shape or the structure, kind of how it looks like in real life. How are those atoms really laid out together? Whereas this one here is just kind of telling me how many of each thing I have. So I have 4 carbons and I have 10 hydrogens. This one kind of shows me, where in the structure they are. Like the hydrogen looks like it's around the outside and carbon's on the inside, but it doesn't give me quite as much detail as this picture here. So they don't all really serve the same purpose, and they all have some benefits and some limitations. So in our notes, you're asked to kind of write down or at least notice. I think I choose this one right here. So what is one benefit to that model, and then what is one limitation to that model that maybe other models do a better job of doing?